You're dead wrong if you don't think LinkedIn is for you. Hey everybody, Ben here from JobNimbus with the Building Business channel, and I've got Jared, who's our VP of People Experience.
That's right.
And I'm super glad to have you.
Thanks, Ben.
And I want to talk about LinkedIn. This is not something that I think a lot of people in our industry are using very effectively. You are a LinkedIn master.
Ugh.
What are they missing on LinkedIn right now?
You know, LinkedIn is such an awesome way to, one, just build brand awareness, right? If someone has a question, they very likely could go to LinkedIn and just say, hey, other professionals, who do you know out there that's actually making a positive difference in the world and who has a good company and a good product that I should actually work with?
Yep.
And so just having alone a company page that has a high-level overview of what your business does is going to, first of all, make you stand out a little bit. But like the real magic of LinkedIn actually comes from highlighting your customers, your prospects, and rethinking the tool itself. So real world example, I have worked with previous customers and hopped off a phone call with them. And actually, I should say they were prospects, right? So you can do it for customers or for prospects.
Okay.
So you get done talking to a prospect, maybe you give them a bid on a roof, and you really like who that person is, you learn a little bit about what they do for work. You can go straight to LinkedIn and say, I just met the Ben Hodson, and oh my gosh, blown away with how cool this guy is. He's the CEO of this awesome company called JobNimbus, yes. And you gotta go take a look at what they're doing at JobNimbus. And this person, you wanna connect with them, he knows everybody. Now, what does that do to the prospect? It creates that connection, right?
Yep.
It makes them say, oh, I want to do business with good people,
yep.
right? And so it elevates the likelihood that they'll actually want to partner with you. So that's a huge secret for prospects. And then also when you look at your customers, why not talk about the amazing things that they're doing? Most people are afraid of LinkedIn because they don't know what their brand voice should be.
Yeah, it's kind of a little bit concerning because you're like, wait, everybody looks like they're super set up and some professionals set this up and everything.
Totally. So flip it on its head and highlight the customers that you're working with. Talk about those awesome people that are making a difference in the world. What are their company values? What's their mission? How does that stand out compared to their competitors? And all of a sudden, you become the company that shines a spotlight on other people. Now, if you really want to take that to a new level, if you're not working with a customer that's the CEO, maybe it's a line level employee, tag that line level employee's boss.
How do you tag somebody in LinkedIn?
Great question. So in the comment, you would just say something like, man, I really want to thank Ben for being awesome. And when you do Ben, you do the @ symbol, right?
Yeah.
And then you just start typing in Ben's name. It will show you, you can select that you're the person from the drop down, and then that tags you.
Okay.
And then I could say, and I'm so jealous of his leader put in that leader's name, and then you can tag them. Now what that does for that customer or that person you just interacted with is it shows their boss that you think that they're fantastic. And you want that, right? We want people to know that we see them at their best. And at work, we want to be validated by our leaders.
Yes.
And LinkedIn is a great tool for you to validate those people as well.
So is this another angle where you can also, for your employees, do that type of thing to show publicly how proud of them you are, how great they are, give them kudos?
There is a feature that's called a kudos feature, and so you can actually give a kudos on LinkedIn, and it will have a little image that says like, kudos, Ben, for doing A, B, and C. Now, another thing just to kind of consider as you're interacting with customers or prospects is that LinkedIn has video and audio options. So if you're on the mobile app, you can just send a message to someone, and then if you just click the little plus symbol at the very bottom, you can do a voice message. And so imagine that I just finished talking to someone about what the cost of their house is going to be to redo their roof. Instead of like typing out the super long message, I could just say, hey, here's what the cost is going to be and a couple of considerations that you should have. I do that in my mobile app, and then they can respond with video or audio message as well.
So it's a full messaging solution, kind of like you see on Facebook or anything else, right?
Yep, exactly. It'll really streamline all of that.
With any contractor that we're working with, they're working with a lot of different partners. They've got subcontractors, they've got suppliers and distributors that they're working with. How do you build those types of connections and relationships on LinkedIn?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the way that you start with just expanding your network on LinkedIn is it's all about how many first connections that you have. So that means that if you go on LinkedIn, you see someone, you actually send a connect request.
Yep.
Right? And once you're connected to that person, you're then connected to their network. So maybe I want to infiltrate one company. I can connect with one person in that company, and all of their connections now become visible to me. And then I can connect with those people, and then that just expands everyone's individual connections.
Wow.
So you want to have a lot of connections and be willing to connect with good people and start talking about their business and what their needs are. Because then when you post something, it has more visual insight by everyone else on LinkedIn. So that's a super good tip that you need to keep in mind of accept connection requests, send connection requests, and you want to be top of mind when it comes to being the roofer of choice.
Yep.
And I can think of a really specific person in my connection that actually does carpets, right? And I knew that he did carpets. He did a lot of posts about changing home and commercial carpeting, and I had a flood in my basement. And who came to my mind? Ron. Immediately. And it's because I had seen the post that he was talking about with carpet. I called him up and I said, dude, I had a flood. Can you come over and help? And he said, I'll be there in a few hours. And it was just because of the exposure that he had by being active in talking about what his business is and the difference that he was making through changing carpets. You can do the same thing with any profession or any trade that you're a part of.
So what kinds of things did Ron do that really caught your eye?
One of the things that I love that Ron did is he would show before and after shots of carpets and flooring that he had done. You'd see how terrible it looked, and then after the fact, what it looked like when they had finished.
Yep.
Now, I think the way that that would apply to a roofer is, hey, you have a ton of hail damage on somebody's roof. Here's what that roof looked like. And then after the project was completed, here's how the roof totally looked after. And we use JobNimbus to help that become a reality. And then that can get a tie-in for awesome companies that you're partnering with, right? So there's lots of ways to not only show what you're doing, but who you're partnering with and how it's streamlining the process. And a lot of people on LinkedIn are homeowners.
Yes.
And we need homeowners to know that it's maybe not as costly as you think it is to repair a roof, especially if there's damage done to it. So those before and after pictures and talking about how the system works really brands you and your business as an expert in the industry and the space.
Would it be wise then that whenever you're posting content on Facebook or something like that, like a video of, let me show you this project we did, that you also post it on LinkedIn as well?
Yeah, if you're doing a business-related post on Facebook or another social media platform, you for sure should do that on LinkedIn.
Interesting.
Now, it also depends on just what that messaging you want it to be.
Yep.
But if your messaging is about the difference we make in our trade and our profession and business, it totally belongs on LinkedIn. We want to connect and do business with other people that are relatable, humble, and awesome. And so when you can show that your business does that, is a perfect place to be on LinkedIn.
How much does LinkedIn content affect search? In other words, if I search for somebody on Google and I'm asking about things, will they be able to find my company easier if I'm on LinkedIn? Does it make a difference?
Yes, it definitely can help with SEO, and it also is a great place to put on a website and vice versa, right? You want to drive people a certain direction, so if you are on these different platforms, then it will help with the SEO and it will help make sure that they can get to where you want them to be. So it's a great tip. You for sure want to have it linked on the website, and you want to have your website inside of your LinkedIn company profile.
Yeah. Thanks, Jared. Okay, so believe it or not, LinkedIn is actually a place you should be. It's an awesome place to highlight your customers. It's a great place to find new prospects, and frankly, to show your company brand so that people want to buy from you. Thanks for joining us today on Building Business. Keep on building your business.